He was Suffolk Coastal's MP for 30 years until 2010 and is currently chairman of the Climate Change Committee in the Lords. And I'm delighted that he is here today to show solidarity with our cause, but also to share some insights. Thank you, John.
There's no one here that doesn't believe that climate change is the biggest material threat we have. But why is the change in the climate happening? Overwhelmingly, it is because we have destroyed the biodiversity which used to help keep the balance on our planet. So why the hell is it a good idea to destroy the biodiversity in order to pretend that you're fighting climate change? The battle to protect biodiversity is part and parcel of the battle to fight climate change. And that's why we have to look at all these proposals with that single cast in mind. I'm fascinated that one of the proposals is called Nautilus. I bothered to look it up. Nautilus is the last remaining part of a very, very large family which has become extinct. And it's actually called the living fossil. That's exactly what this will be. It's out of time, it's out of date, it's out of place, and it's out of the question. The problem with it is that it's so bloody old-fashioned. What on earth are we doing trying to deal with what is a terrifically difficult issue with very out-of-date proposals? There is a proper way forward. And the reason that I'm here above all is because I want to say that this is not a NIMBY battle. We have got an alternative which is better than that which is being proposed. It's more up to date. I'm not, of course, going to get into politics, but of course, if we hadn't been silly enough to leave the European Union, we'd learnt a bit from our neighbours. But we'll just have to try to work out on our own that they've got it right. And can we please not be stupid about this? Now, when you look at the damage that the Industrial Revolution caused, all, of course, in the name of progress, all, of course, in the name of creating economic advance, we're still cleaning it up. We're still trying to make up for the damage which was done and the price that was not paid. What we have to do today is to pay now the price that it costs to make the changes which alone will save this planet from disaster. And I don't care what government it is, I don't care what the minister is. What I want to say is that any government and any minister is responsible for protecting this generation and above all the coming generations from the damage and the greed which has got us where we are. And you don't do that by doing something worse. You don't do that by making the whole situation yet again a matter of destruction in the name of progress. What we need to do is to take modern technology, have offshore wind. I mean, why did we have it offshore if we're going to make a mess onshore? What on earth is this as an argument? Offshore wind, offshore grid, bring it on board as close to the centres of population and where it's going to be used as is possible. My last comment is a very simple, practical one. We're going to have to do some things we'd prefer not to do. There are some areas where we're going to have new pylons. There's no way out of it. We're going to have to do some things which are damaging because you can't achieve it without it. But you cannot sell that to the people who have to have it if you haven't tried to do as much as you can not to need it. What you've got to do is to do all the things that you can do so that we can achieve what we need in the best possible way. And then you can ask people to make some of the sacrifices which are going to be necessary. But if you've carelessly, without thought, done things which you don't need to do, then you have no story to tell the public. And this government, if it's going to get, as I hope it will, to the decarbonisation of the grid by 2030, if it's going to do that, it has to have a story to tell the public. And the story is very simple. Wherever we can, we're going to do this without damaging the environment at all. Wherever we can, we're going to do the sums right. And that means not what it's just going to cost now, but what it will cost over the years to come. And above all, wherever we are, we think about the future and the generations that we are protecting from what we have done. And I look round this audience, and many of us are not in the first flush of youth. We have a very particular responsibility because we have lived off the damage which has been done to the planet. And it's our job to change that for the next generation, not by destroying the biodiversity upon which this planet rests, but by doing something quite else, constantly demanding that we do the best, not just for us, but the best for those who come after us.
Thank you, John.